beautiful morning to you, our esteemed listeners. Welcome to Carnival Radio Breakfast Show, and this is Newspaper Review. I am Ibrahim Adebayo. These are the headlines in the news. Stay clear of our internal issues. FG warns foreign powers. NLC gives details of invasion of Labour House by security operatives. NNPCL to Senate. We are not criminals. Oil and gas industry bleeding. Fuel queues may linger till next week, sales marketers. Power generation hits 3 years high of 5,105 megawatts. Now the news info. Stay clear of our internal issues. FG warns foreign powers. The federal government of Nigeria yesterday warned foreign countries to stay clear of the nation's internal affairs. The warning came against the backdrop of foreign flag being flown during the ongoing protest against hardship in the country, especially in some northern states, including Kano, Kaduna, and Zamfara, and the arrest of some foreigners as sponsors of the protest. This came as the protest, which had stalled in most states where it was held, continued in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, yesterday, as protesters and some journalists were attacked by thugs who infiltrated the protest. The Nigerian Army has also detained the soldier who fired the shot that killed a 16-year-old boy in Zaria, Kaduna State, on Tuesday evening, saying he was being investigated. Also in Plateau and Bauchi, the Plateau and Bauchi government, which imposed a curfew in the heat of the protest early in the week, have relaxed it as normalcy returned to the two states yesterday. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, who gave warning while briefing members of the diplomatic corps in Abuja, however, highlighted the importance of cordial international relationships. Recall that the protests, which gained momentum in the major cities such as Lagos, Benin, Osun, Oyo, Kano, Gombe, Yobe, Borno, Niger, Kebbi, Abuja, and other northern town, was marked by violence, and that at least 6 Spaniards were arrested in Kano in connection with the protest. The minister appealed for continued collaboration for the international community to support Nigerian efforts in overcoming its current challenges and achieving a better future for all Nigerians. He warned, and I quote, "While the government continues to work hard through various reform programs and measures to address challenges facing Nigeria and Nigerians, it is pertinent to remind us that no nation tolerates foreign interference in its domestic affairs and that of its citizens. Nigeria is not an exception." Meanwhile, the Department of State Service yesterday revealed that it is investigating the Polish national who were arrested in Kano over their alleged involvement in the widespread waving of Russian flag during the protest. Speaking during a meeting in Abuja yesterday with members of the diplomatic corps, the DSS spokesperson Peter Afunaya, said the Polish national were arrested in connection with the waving of Russian flags during the protest. Afunaya said the arrest of the suspect was not targeted at Polish national. For more details on the news, you can visit the Vanguard newspaper. Stay clear of our internal issues. FG1 wants foreign powers. NLC gives details of invasion of the Labour House by security operatives. Nigerian Labour Congress NLC has given details of Wednesday night invasion of its headquarters, the Labour House in Abuja, by armed security operatives. NLC in a statement also demanded international inquiry into the traumatic invasion. The statement by its held media and public relation Benson Okpa equally directed all its staff to stay away from the Labour House from now until we are certain that there are no incriminating material, harmful substances dropped in our offices by invading operatives. It called on the international community to take note of the deterioration of democratic principles in the bid to turn Nigeria into police state. Finally, the Labour said they demanded the withdrawal of the troop of invading security agency from the premises of the Labour House in Abuja. They also demanded that all the books and material carted away by the invading operative security should be returned unfailingly to where they were taken from before the end of today. For more details on the news, you can visit the Vanguard newspaper. NLC give details of invasion of Labour House by security operatives. NMPCL to Senate. We are not criminals. Oil and gas industry bleeding. The group chief executive officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NMPC Limited, Mele Kyari, said that the organization has nothing to do with substandard importation of petroleum products into the country, just as it stressed that they are not criminal or thieves and also not fighting or prosecuting anyone. Speaking in Abuja yesterday, he appeared before the Senate committee led by Senate leader to investigate the alleged Okoyemi Bamidele to investigate the alleged economic sabotage in the Nigerian petroleum industry with some critical stakeholders in the petroleum industry. Kyari said that as an organization, they don't lie and they are not criminals or thieves, not fighting or prosecuting anyone, not sabotaging anyone organization. The oil and gas industry is bleeding. According to him, as the GCEO of the company, he has faced undue media attack from person doing everything to create the impression that NMPCL is sabotaging the nation economy, adding that the oil and gas industry is bleeding and there are things he knew but could not talk about in public when the time comes. Kyari said, and I quote, "It is our duty to protect the overall interest of this country by provisions of the law." Mr. Chairman, the Petroleum Industry Act, the Company and Allied Matter Act, and other enabling regulations and laws that govern the activities of the oil and gas industry, Mr. Chairman, we are not in breach of any of them. The court continue. They're going to continue our memorandum article of association, the Petroleum Industry Act, and other enabling acts, including CAMAS, which legislated by the Honorable National Assembly. We are clear that the board and management of NMPCL must maximize value for this company. And Mr. Chairman, this company can have negative profit for 3 years. End of quote. Also speaking, the Dangote Group disclosed that out of the 5 billion crude oil they got in recent time, NMPCL gave them 60%, 20% imported, and 20% purchase. The group chief strategic officer of Dangote Refinery, Aliyu Sulaiman, who represented the Dangote Group, commended the NMPCL for making the huge supply to Dangote, but added that the refinery is a baby that should be supported by all relevant stakeholders to grow and not die. Similarly, the National President of Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Alhaji Abubakar Setima, in his presentation, loudly admonished the committee against monopoly in the petroleum sector, saying the current value chain in the downstream should be sustained to allow other investors to participate. In his own remark, Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, Wale Edun, said that the increase in the crude oil would stabilize the country foreign exchange market, while expressing confidence in the leadership of the ad hoc committee to conduct an unbiased and impartial investigation. On his part, Minister of State for Petroleum, Senator Eniken Lopobiri, noted that the federal government was committed to rehabilitating the nation's refineries and also committed to supporting Dangote Refinery. We are also supporting modular refineries, and we have been resolving whatever issues they had brought to the attention of the government. Earlier in his address of welcome, leader of the Senate and chairman ad hoc committee, Senator Bamidele, who raised questions over $1.5 billion approved in 2021 for the turnaround maintenance of the Port Harcourt refinery, with little or no result, lamented that it is unfair and wrong to treat government businesses and public companies as an orphan, and why the private businesses were flourishing and thriving. The Federal Executive Council had approved the plan by the Ministry of Petroleum Resources to rehabilitate and turn around the Port Harcourt refinery with a whopping sum of $1.5 billion under the administration of the former president, Muhammadu Buhari. According to the Senate, despite the huge investment, the government-owned refinery was yet to function effectively, a situation that compelled the country to depend almost entirely on the importation of petroleum products. Bamidele, who expressed grave concerns about the functionality of the government-owned refineries, despite billions of dollars invested to carry out turnaround maintenance on the installation, observed that the Federation is under a true challenging period, pointing out that distribution and power and supply of refined products has been irregular and problematic in the recent history of our fatherland. For more details on the news, you can visit the Vanguard newspaper. NNPCL to Senate, we are not criminals. Oil and gas industry bleeding. Fuel queues may linger till next week. Sales marketers, oil marketers are still apprehensive and not opening their filling station for business, causing queue for premium motor spirits, popularly called petrol, in major cities nationwide. Dealers under the aegis of Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, which control about 80% of filling stations across the country, said yesterday that the decision to close shop was because of the ongoing protest. They, however, told newsmen that the queue will clear out next week, stressing that it will be so risky to open filling stations, particularly in locations where protests had been violent. Nigerian commenced nationwide protest on August 1 as the organizers of the exercise declared that it would continue till August 10. Responding to the question on why the queue for petrol have failed to clear in many locations despite the recent slowdown in the protest, the National Publicity Secretary, Chief Ukadike Chinedu, said the protest is still ongoing, so the filling stations and trucks are not functioning optimally. This is because of the fear of attack on their stations by protesters. In another development, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Ministers of Economy, Wale Edo, revealed that the country currently spends $600 million on fuel importation every month. He stated that the high import bill was due to neighboring countries up to Central Africa benefiting from country fuel imports. The minister stated this during an interview with newsmen yesterday. Edun explained that the situation was the reason the president removed the fuel subsidy, as the country does not know the exact amount of fuel consumed internally. The National Bureau of Statistics revealed that Nigerian petrol imports were reduced to an average of 1 billion litres monthly after President Bola Tinubu removed the fuel subsidy on May 29 last year. Fuel queues may linger till next week, says marketers. Power generation hits 3 years high of 5,105 megawatts. The Minister of Power, Adelabu Adebayo, has announced that Nigerian power sector generated 5,105 megawatts of electricity on July 27, 2024, describing it as a 3 years high. Mr. Adelabu announced this at the inaugural meeting of the Inter-Ministerial Sector on Power in Abuja yesterday. While highlighting the recent achievement and the future goal for the power sector, the minister said, and I quote, just a few days ago, on July 27, we successfully generated and transmitted 5,105 megawatts of power, the highest in the last 3 years. This is an improvement from the previous capacity of around 4,000 megawatts or below. If the quote continue, our target is to achieve a landmark generation and transmission of 6,000 megawatts by December, end of quote. To announce the economic potential of Nigerian power sector, the government ministers at the meeting called for increased collaboration across various ministries and sectors. They emphasized the sector's crucial role in driving economic growth and industrialization, aligned with President Bola Tinubu's vision. Adelabu underscored the necessity of inter-ministerial collaboration to achieve these objectives. He said the Power Ministry is working closely with the Ministries of Environment, Water Resources and Sanitation, Budgets and National Planning and Petroleum Resources, particularly the Minister of State, Gas, Ekpo. The Minister of Power Resources and Sanitation, Joseph Utse, echoed the sentiment, stating that the Ministry of Water Resources and the Ministry of Power are like brothers and sisters, that they will do everything possible to work together to achieve the renewable energy agenda of the President in making life better for Nigerians, addressing the need for sustainable energy solution. Adelabu highlighted the roles of renewable energy situation. He said, and I quote, We are focusing on generating power in a sustainable and environmental friendly manner. This is why we talk about renewable through solar, wind, and small dams. End of quote. The Minister of Environment, represented by Minister of State Isaac Salako, emphasized the environmental impact of power generation and importance of managing waste generated in the process. Adelabo outlined the terms of reference for working groups, which include activating seamless power sector, liquidity and financing, providing guidance in the governance structure of electricity distribution companies, and focusing on the energy transition program to achieve net zero emission by 2060. The collaborative efforts are on set not only to boost power generation and distribution, but also to ensure that benefits are felt by households, businesses, and industries across the country. The minister explained. Power generation hit 3 years high of 5,105 megawatts. Before we bring the newspaper review to a close, these are the headlines again. Stay clear of our internal issues. FG wants foreign powers. NLC gives details of invasion of labor house by security operatives. NMPCL to Senate. We are not criminals. Oil and gas industry bleeding. Fuel queues may linger till next week. Sales marketers. Power generation hit 3 years high of 5,105 megawatts. And that ends the newspaper review on Carnival Radio. Thank you so much for listening. I am Ibrahim Hadebayo. You can download the Carnival Media app from the Google Play Store and iOS App Store to enjoy the rest of your morning.